Welcome to Aussie
and the Scotsman.
Today we're talking with Mack.
Hey fellas, hey Rob, hey Rob. Thanks for
What you failed to tell Mac at the intro is that we play a little bit of music, and he can't hear the music.
Well, you cut
Only
me off when I was building some rapport with him.
And
I
it's-
also left off your surname because you're not Madonna yet with a single name. So, Mac, do you want to tell us your full name and title?
Well, no, I'm going to do that. I have
Okay,
a
Rob,
bio
you do
here.
that. Okay.
Anyone that listens to Aussie and the Scotsman will know that any interviews that we do, I usually get something wrong. So I've gone above and beyond here, and I've spoken to Rebecca. And Rebecca works with Mac, lives with Mac. I have no idea, but Rebecca sent me this bio, so let me read it out and then we'll get started. Rowan, we're delighted to welcome
Okay.
Mack Lindon, the Australian actor turned director, to the studio today via Zoom. Mac first stunned audiences with the success of his powerful debut movie Rise in 2014, based on his wrongful imprisonment. Now Mac brings us Rise of the Underdog, which is going to be released in cinemas on November the 6th. It is an inspiring story carving out the path in independent cinema, sharing not only his journey, but also his unwavering belief in the underdog spirit. You can watch Rise on his streaming platform, moviesense.com.au. Mack Lindon, welcome to the Aussie and the Scotsman podcast.
Awesome. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Rowan. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure.
Aussie and the Scotsman. Love
Aussie
it.
and the Scotsman. Did you pick who was who?
I didn't until I asked you. Yeah. Well, I saw Rob's grey hair, so I thought that there's a crown of wisdom. So I didn't know whether the Scots are wiser than the Aussies or not. But
I knew I would love Mac from the second he came on.
Very endearing, isn't he? No, it's more when we open our mouths. I'm like 8th generation Australian on both sides, and an Aussie as you get, and Robbie here is as Scottish as he gets. So we came together. So can you tell us a little bit about your story and your life a little bit, and how you came to
be sitting in front of us right now.
Be sitting in front of us now.
Yeah, awesome. Well, the short version is I was one of 9 children, and I loved
what was that like?
film growing up. That was good and bad. Good and bad.
Okay.
Yeah, good and bad. But I was definitely one of the more creative ones. The rest were more in the orthodox careers, I guess, medicine, law, politics, stuff like that. And I got into acting when I was about 15, and just did the rounds, did all the extra work, got a little bit part on Home and Away, did bits and pieces here and there. And it's not a sort of a secure career. So I went and did my Division 1 nursing. I became a registered nurse in whenever that was. And that was cool. That career took me to Africa, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then I went into geriatrics, which was maybe a bad move, but it was good because I got to see the end of the line for Homo sapiens, and that shanghaied me to a one-night stand, which is the impetus, I guess, of my first movie. I lost my nursing degree, got 6 years, and yeah, look, I fought that from inside. There was a lot of guys inside still today with that
Let me
charge.
stop you for a second. Because if you can just explain why you went to jail and what happened, as much of the detail as you want. You were wrongfully imprisoned, which is what this movie Rise, which is your story, that was in 2014. So what happened? Why were you in prison, and how long were you in prison for? And what?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to spoil the movie, but I'm cool to talk about it. It was a one-night stand. It went wrong, and yeah, as I said, if you're listening, going to watch the movie, that sort of goes into it a little bit more. But it was really the stories about inside and the experience that I had inside, and some of the characters that I met inside. It was, in hindsight, it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing story.
So go on.
We watched the movie, the 2014 movie Rise.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
That.
Right.
Brilliant film, by the way. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks, Ron.
Martin Sack's performance
smashed it.
Unbelievable. I mean,
fully
in Underbellies and other Australian TV shows. It took me a second. I didn't get him in the van in the first scene when he headbutts the guy and nearly kills him. I'm talking to a dead man.
Yeah.
But I thought his performance, he was certainly the pick of the actors.
Yeah.
Performance.
And I know you said you don't want to give away what that movie is about. But that's the hook, I think. What happened, why you were wrongfully imprisoned. If you don't want to give it away, that's fine. I won't spoil it on your behalf. But the reason that you're on here today is for
Mm,
Rise of the Underdog, which is a
mhm,
new movie, which I believe is about the making of
mm.
that movie Rise in 2014. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, it is. So, and I guess we can tie them both together with what Rob Sitch said best. You know, the director of the castle, and he said, "Look, Mack's done two of the hardest things that there is to do in Australia. One is go to jail, Australian archaic justice system, wrongfully imprisoned, and the second is make a film." And so, based on that second comment that he said, I needed to, and I wanted to tell audiences how difficult it actually is to make a film. And in some aspects, it made my time in jail quite an easy experience compared to making a film.
Right. How long were
So
you in jail
Rise of
for?
the Underdog is okay. Then the drama on how I made the film once I came out, having not been to film school and all the rest of the facts around that.
Okay. How long were you in jail for?
19 months.
19
Yeah.
months.
Mm.
I really want to talk to you a lot. We often have guests on here and we talk about the movie that they were in depth, and we talk about scenes and the actors and behind the
Yeah.
scenes, but I know you don't want to do that. So what we'll say is then we'll recommend watching obviously the movie, the first movie, 2014. Rise of the Underdogs comes out in a few weeks. So tell us about that movie, and or give us an insight into what it was like to make Rise from your
Yeah.
perspective and the
Well,
feeling of it.
there were some epic breakthroughs. Like, I approached the Attorney General of Queensland and said, "Look, I need a jail," and as Providence would have it, the Barellan jail was in refurbishment for 3 weeks, and they said, "Look, get in and get out." And so we did. We had to smash all the scenes in 3 weeks
Uh,
in that jail in the middle. So they moved 600 inmates across to Wakehole, and we had 21 days to shoot before the refurbs were done and 600 inmates were going to be returned. So there was pressure to get it right in that time.
who backed this film? How do you go about getting a film like this made? You've come out of jail 10 years or so. Well, not 10 years or so. I don't know. What was the time difference between you getting out of jail and making the 2014 movie? How many
Yeah,
years?
I was out in '09,
Yeah.
and I had it made, and it was released in end of 13 and then internationally 14. So it was pretty much made in 2012,
And
shot in
what sort of
2012.
level of success did you have with the Rise?
Um, a lot more success once it hit Amazon Prime.
Right.
The climate to get that film into the Australian cinemas was just ridiculous, and I have no idea to this day why it was so hard to get that strong story. And it was a good level production. Like Pinnacle Films wouldn't have taken it on if they didn't see that it
Yeah.
was we could move it.
Uh,
Um,
Was it
and
hard to
then
negotiate with Amazon Prime and get it on that
No, that's
streaming
easy.
service?
That was easy. The hardest part, and we're finding the exact same thing again with Rise of the Underdog.
Yes.
The exhibitors, that they are doorkeepers of their screens, and that we are having to bargain down to 75% their way, 25% our way for ticket prices to get it in the screens.
Can I just ask you one on Rise again?
Mm,
You said you're in Home and Away and you've been an actor.
mm.
Why didn't you play yourself in the film
In Rise,
in Rise?
yeah, in Rise, I came across Nathan Wilson, and I just thought, wow, he was amazing. I think the age, because that time had passed.
Okay.
It was a backstory, so we got him, and he was just. I mean, you've seen the film. It was an
Yeah.
amazing performance.
It
Yeah.
was a very good performance, yeah. But I
Mm,
just, I mean, you produced it, you wrote it, you directed it,
mm,
you did everything but eat the foot. Like you did all of it, and it's your
yeah,
story. I thought you might
I
have
think
wanted to play.
I think to be honest,
There was a you weren't a part of it.
yeah, and I wasn't probably equipped to be able to do both like I have now. Obviously, on this one with a bit more experience under my belt. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Are you friendly still? Because one of
Yeah.
the ending scenes here, are you friendly with the Martin Sachs character? Was that true, or is there some artistic license in that?
With Jimmy Cove,
Yeah.
yeah, no, yeah, we still talk. That's not his real name, and there's a whole other bunch of characters that I still talk to, and a lot of them, their heart still remains pretty staunch to this day. Like, Mac, what are you doing about the 3,000 other guys inside with the exact same conviction,
Right.
wrongfully imprisoned?
We'll
To
talk
be
a little bit.
honest,
Yeah, talk to us a little bit about that then. I mean, this is Rise of the Underdog. What is the underdog spirit to you? What is it you
Yep.
want to get from this and achieve from this?
Yeah, it's a pretty general, it's a broad brushstroke, fellas. Like the story is, I didn't make it for filmmakers. Like, this is how you do it, and this is how you can get your film in. I really didn't. I've just used that story to inspire people to follow whatever dream it is, particularly in the climate at the moment with everything that's going on, like on a macro, but even just on a micro on the home front, that's paying the bills, getting the kids off to school, paying the tax man, doing the shopping, all the shit that goes with that. My hope is that people watch the film and go, "Oh shit, if he can do it," I don't know if I can swear on this podcast, but
You certainly
You can.
can.
if
Yeah,
he
no
can,
problem.
yeah, yeah, sweet. Look, if Matt can do it, he's an ordinary guy. I can do it too, and I think that's the core of Rise of the Underdog.
Well,
And can I want to ask you a couple, and you can tell me to be quiet. It's not my
You're
business,
right,
right?
go for it.
I do it often.
We've just watched the film, and I honestly loved it. I thought the final scene when the two fellas are hugging on the beach, I thought that's
Yeah,
real friendship, the real
bro,
connection.
love.
There
Yeah.
was. But when I watched the court case, right, and I saw that you got off because the amount of drugs was the level of a poppy seed, right?
Yeah.
No.
Were you just explain to me, right?
Yeah.
Did you get off on a technicality? Like, I don't understand because you did the first 13 minutes before you went to jail. You sort of did the court scene, convicted very quick. The bulk of the film's in the
Mm,
prison, right? Which is obviously the
that's right.
story you wanted to tell. But
Yep.
then to get off, right? Get off the sentence.
Mm.
Like that, was there any other facts that proved that you were innocent, or was it just the fact that she could have taken that level of drugs through a Panadol? Or
No, that was one fact of about probably four critical ones that nailed her. Unfortunately, she would have got contempt of court well before that, but that was
right?
just a standout fact that was not picked up in the first trial. The story's even crazier, and I couldn't actually put what actually happened, some elements of what actually happened in the movie. Like after that conviction was quashed,
Yes.
it made the cops look so bad, and like I think one cop got sacked because of it. The DPP wanted to run a retrial, so I was now out with a quashed conviction, and they ran it again. So that was a whole nother retrial. Like it's just nuts. But
Right.
from a
And
story point of view, it was a bit much.
where does the other lady sit? Where does the accused lady? Do you talk to her? Have you made peace? I know you wrote to
Look,
her in the prison.
yeah, I did. That was true. As I haven't probably creative license was about 85% true.
Okay.
But that forgiveness letter, absolutely. I sent that out probably for me more than her, really. I guess I could move on.
Have you spoken to
Um,
her?
I haven't since, no. No, I've talked to like a mutual contact,
Sure.
and he was just like, look, like now that I was out, I got a message to him, look, just help her to move on. I don't want her like looking over her back. What's the retaliation going to
Yeah. Is he frozen?
Oh dear.
Hold on. Stop the
Oh,
clock.
he's
He's back.
back.
There
Mac.
we
Mac.
go. Sorry about that. No idea what happened.
So you said you gave a sort of a message to a mutual friend, or just trying to understand
Yeah,
the dynamic.
that's right. So I got a message through to one of the witnesses at court to say, hey, look, I don't want her looking over her shoulder for the rest of her life because I can only imagine if you jump in her shoes, the fear that could be around that. Uh, Tell her to move on. I'll move on. I'm going to make a movie about it. I won't mention her name in any way, shape, or form. I've changed the sexes of some of the characters. I've changed names. And it's about the story and how I've grown through that story and how I met this, I guess, like a father figure in there that knew the truth right from when we hopped in the truck, and
Yeah.
and he looked out for me, and I learnt a whole world of camaraderie and honor, and men inside, your word is your word, and I learned so much from that. My yes is my yes. I mean what I say what I mean. All these sorts of things that coming out in the world out here is the honor. It's two different worlds.
Well, we're old
100%.
school as well. We're handshake guys. You make a
Yeah,
handshake deal with somebody,
awesome.
that is it. That is your bond, and you stick to it.
Fully.
Now, you had a great nursing career. It all went horribly wrong. You were in jail. Obviously, you couldn't nurse again. How long did it take to kind of recover from that and get your life back together? Do you still? But often people say when terrible things happen that they're glad it happened because it was the catalyst to change and
Yeah,
change for the better.
yeah.
Is that in your case?
Yeah, absolutely. That's true. The consequences, they're still there. Like 2 nights ago, I had a dream of being in jail. literally still. So there's still consequences, but absolutely they're turning points. And I look back and I can say now that I'm grateful that it happened because it shanghaied me into a passion to storytell and make movies and yeah, help people really at the end of the day. For boils
Well,
down to it.
we're self-proclaimed. After watching Richard Jewell, have you ever seen the movie Richard Jewell?
No,
With
no.
Paul Walter Hauser? I recommend that. It's about
Yeah,
the
okay,
Atlanta
cool.
bombing when there was a security guard that was wrongly accused of planting the Atlanta Olympic bombing in Centennial Park.
Okay.
Phenomenal.
Wow.
When we watched it, it's one of these movies you would just skip over, but my God,
Yeah.
it really connected with us. And we watched 12 Years a Slave and The Hurricane and obviously Rocky and Eddie the Eagle and all these. We've got
Yeah.
Even like, remember the Guildford Four in the Name of the Father? You ever seen that with Daniel
Yeah, a long
Day-Lewis?
time ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an old
Yeah.
classic, right? But there's four people that spent 30 odd years in jail,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's all political and Irish versus the English and things like that.
Yeah.
At the end of Rise, it said the people after 500 days got some sort of rebate or funding, but you were
Mhm.
denied it. How come?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, Shine Lawyers, one of the biggest compensation
Yeah.
lawyers in the country, have gone through four lawyers on this case, still to this day.
Are you still fighting that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Okay,
over 2.2 mil now, and four lawyers have come and gone mysteriously. You're taking on the state of Victoria, and I think they don't want to set this as a precedent of compensation. It would open up the can of worms
right.
But you're not giving,
beyond. Yeah, it's crazy.
but you're not giving up on this.
Oh no, 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 no. I don't. If not even the passion, but the conviction's there, I can't. I've tried to let it go. I've I'm through it. I'm over it. I've let it go, and now I'm fighting from the point of view of the other boys in the cell at the moment.
Well, and so I feel like I'm asking all the awful questions.
No, no, no. It's all
You,
good.
you've been cleared, right?
Yes,
And so by the courts you are innocent, but
yes,
in the what do they call it? In the forum of public opinion, when you go down the street,
yeah.
people still say, "Hey, you're a rapist, or you're sexually accused."
Yeah, look, what people think of me is none of my business, Rob. But Rowan. But the thing is, I think I knew I could sleep in there at peace. The hardened criminals, they can't bullshit or bullshit. They knew that they know the justice system better than some of the judges know the justice system.
Right.
So there's so much solace in that. When I walk down the street now, I get more people come up to me going, "Hey, this has happened to my son or my cousin or my nephew or my niece. What do I do? Where do I go?" That's what
Yeah.
I'm getting more of. And also I'm getting more, that could have happened to me. I had a one night stand back in the day when it was just,
We were talking about
And
the
we
same thing.
spoke about that in our prep, right? That
yeah,
we've all picked up a girl and left the nightclub with the girl, and
yeah,
we've all had a few drinks. So
yeah,
yes, you didn't jump off Grand Canyon, right? This was everyday
yeah,
behavior. What
yeah.
happens?
It
So
was. It was.
yeah.
It's very difficult.
Well,
What?
sorry. And when they said you're guilty, what
Mm.
was your feeling in your stomach? Like
Oh,
you're innocent, and they
yeah.
said you're going to jail for 6 years. Tell us about that moment.
Yeah, that's a really cool question. I don't think I've been asked that question. I actually held on to behind the dock, they have this, like the ledge. And I was like, it was real surreal. I was holding on and swaying. Like I
Yeah,
was like,
right.
it was just a spin. It was very surreal moment. And then at that point, the defense lawyer came up and she kind of saw, she's like looking at me, "Are you with me?" She's like, "It's okay. We'll put an appeal straight away," and that's kind of when she said, "Look, you reckon you can handle 3 weeks?" And I kind of like, all right, I can do 3 weeks.
Yeah, right.
Because you hear horror stories about jail,
Yeah.
say what not to say. I only recently learned that you're not allowed to say champ,
Yeah, no,
where
champ.
are
Well,
you,
not in
champ?
Victoria anyway. You're in Melbourne, aren't you? Yeah, champ
Yeah.
is
Yes.
not good down there. Up here, it's all right. And then rat's something different. And yeah, they're different,
Yeah.
different codes,
Yeah.
different states.
What was your best? I know you spoke about honor and your word is your word. Is there any other
Mm.
learnings? It can't all be moonlight and roses. It's prison, right? What?
Oh, yeah,
Tell
no,
us some
yeah,
of
Tell
the
us a bad
other
story.
things. Yeah, tell us some bad
yeah.
secrets.
There's stuff like you're sitting there. I remember one night, like you're on muster, and I'm just sitting there going, "This is not happening." Like the two guys either side of me. One guy had CJ had chopped a guy's head off and hands and feet, and the cops were looking for the parts, and he would ask me, Mac, what should I do? The cops are coming in. And this guy here, I used to give him my desserts at night. I wasn't a sweet tooth, and he had nailed a dude's feet to the floor until the guy had paid the debt back. Like, and yeah, and the master, and I remember that moment just sticks out. I'm just like, this is just, this is not happening. This
Yeah,
is,
I mean,
and the
I'm an
first night,
innocent. Yeah,
the first night, the fish, you know, the first night in shot.
yeah, yeah.
You're
You're
British,
sitting there
British fish.
going, all right, there's got to be a bigger picture to why I'm standing here. There's got to be, there's got to be some sort of longer story. And I guess
Really,
hindsight's now it's becoming a little clearer.
that's it. And did you think about doing or making a movie? Do you think about your story? I'm going to tell people all about this when I get out of here. Obviously, at the time, you didn't know when that would be. You
Mm,
have so much time to yourself, and you're a creative guy prior to
mm.
going in. Did you come up with any ideas or things or
Yeah, look, I wrote the first script when I was inside. I wrote to Rob Sitch and I said, mate, this is happening to me. I want to turn it into a movie. What do I do? And he actually wrote back to me
did you know him before?
in jail. Not really. No, no, no. I loved the castle and it was just a simple Aussie story.
great
And
story.
he wrote back and said, this is what you got to do. And so I wrote my first draft to Rise, and I actually called that Rise at the Underdog when I was in. So the first movie was going to be called Rise of the Underdog, and then we dropped off the Underdog and just called it Rise.
So what would you tell aspiring actors, producers, not producers, actors, directors, if they're thinking about making a movie about whatever subject matter? What
Yep.
have you learned? What are the tips? What did Rob say? What could you give to others?
You do a pitch, whether it's a little color book or a 3-minute trailer or something, just snapshot pitch of what you need to sell the core of what you want to make. Borrow, beg, or steal. Maybe don't steal, but um, and then once you've made it, put it on YouTube. Don't go through the cinema system. It's all fixed. It's all jilted. It's cooked. It's baked. It's the screens have been bought out 3-4 years. To get a movie in, you got to hustle. You got to fight for screen space. So start up a YouTube channel and you'll get more money. Really.
We'll set up a YouTube channel to put
Yeah.
your movie out. Okay, and
Yeah.
you
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
so
Yeah.
tell us about moviesense.com.au. You've set this up.
Yeah, it was birthed from my experience. This whole orthodox model that's, thank God, finally imploding on themselves. It started up because of, like, I lost millions on Rise because I didn't know the back end. Creative. I didn't have business people to join the two, and then I saw the play, I saw the gameplay, and I saw the quarterlies. I'm like, well, where's all this going? And now it's in Spain, and now it's in, and then I made some amazing contacts in Hollywood, and I forecasted, and I got people who are up ahead of the game saying how it's all going, and it all kept saying, do your own streaming platform. And so
So
Movie
Rod,
Sense, to answer Rob's question, Movie Sense is that not only for our own content, but other filmmakers. Once they've done theatrical, or if not, we can do a premiere and straight on.
so if someone comes to you with the pitch that we just talked about before, and
Yeah.
you go onto YouTube, could they come to you with the pitch? Would you help produce or make that movie?
Yeah, if it's within our genre, like we don't do horror, we don't do stuff that's like not cool.
What do you do?
Um, we do stuff that's inspiring, stuff where you're going to watch the movie and you'll think about it and talk about it, or like we were before talking about those other movies. Years down the track, you're like, oh, I remember that scene or this or that. That content's getting few and far between. So
We've just finished a podcast called Diamonds in the Rough. We just recorded it. Movies that people won't have seen necessarily, like Richard Jewell, like Prisoners,
yeah,
things that stir you. And what we realized, in the name of the Father, they are movies based on true life, movies, rags to riches movies,
yep,
movies where the underdog comes through. So I think anything that stirs your soul like that,
yeah,
anything that really
absolutely,
captures the emotion, is going to resonate with most people.
yep, yep.
So,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I mean this is the ridiculous. We've got the trailer for Rise of the Underdog playing across like 314 cinemas for all the movies that are out at the moment. It has been going for about, I'm just looking at the chart now, about 4 weeks. We've got LED billboards. We've got front page of Inside Film magazine a couple of days ago, and we're still ringing the cinemas, and we're like down here, we're in Coolangatta. You walk down here, we've got 7 weeks posters outside McDonald's. It's a fairly large brand.
Yes.
We've got a van wrapped. We're rolling around in Cooley. This is our home ground. This is like I could have 5 sessions filled, and they're umming and ahhing, going, "Well, we
Oh,
might
wow.
be able to get you a Sunday 12 o'clock session."
Right.
I mean, what the, and our trailer is playing in front of every single movie that they're playing through
Yes.
Val Morgan. It's, something's going on.
So just to take you back, because you said a second ago that you should have done Rise or go through YouTube to promote it, yet you are trying to
Mm,
still go through the mainstream cinemas. Did you want to just release
yeah.
it Amazon or not? Or you want to go through Val Morgan
Yes,
and
I know
Hoyts?
we'll do the theatrical and then bring it straight back onto moviesense.com. So we're walking, I guess, like you're walking the plank, but I know where I'm falling,
So
and
these,
I
yeah.
think yeah,
And do
you
you
go.
sell, if you don't mind me asking, right? Because we've had authors on as well. Do you sell the movie to Val Morgan and then get paid depending on the success, or how does that work from a movie creation or monetary perspective? When do you start to get a return on the money you've put into Rise of the Underdog?
So for the cinemas, it's literally a one-page contract. You just do a deal and you're like, all right, so of the ticket prices, how much do you get? How much do we get? And you barter like you're at a Bali bloody sideboard with selling
Right.
chooks and meat. It's that raw.
For
Or
the
if it's a
just for the ticket
chain,
prices.
just
Sorry,
for
sorry.
ticket prices.
Okay, so there's not a here's 100 grand or
A
something like that.
licensing fee.
$20, you might get 10 and they might get 10 or whatever the deal is. And if whatever it is, it
Yeah.
is. All right.
Yep.
We better make sure we go and see it at the
Pretty,
movies. Huh?
but yeah. When it comes out, when we get a Melbourne one, we'll let you know and round them up.
What I'm taking from this as well as what I'm learning from this is that you've essentially got a playbook now with all your experience. You talked about losing millions. You now know the path that you need to follow to get your movie out there. So
To teach people
to,
you're talking about.
to
Yeah.
teach people how to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that?
Yeah, that's what we're doing, and they don't like what we're doing. That's probably why they don't want to show it in their cinema because we're literally showing them. Like, I mean, but the fact this is the cognitive dissonance is ridiculous. Like, they'll play Snow White, they'll lose massive amounts because Snow White have bulked terms, contractual terms. We want 30 screens, 4 weeks, sign on the dotted
Right.
line. These are the movies that are crunching them. Yet when something comes along, homegrown, we're doing everything that we can. They're like, we can't get in.
It's David
So
and Goliath.
filmmakers need to know about that. I guess that's why we're doing it as well. They need to know about it so that don't get destroyed.
Did you want to take your film to one of the big companies to help you sell it back in and fight David
Yeah,
versus
well,
Goliath
Hoyts have
versus
written back
Goliath?
so far to date. We're after careful consideration. We won't be playing in our circuit. Event, I'm still waiting. Village, we've got some big. They all wait in the shadows, and they don't want to miss out, so they're all waiting. So it's a bit like dominoes. So we're hoping in the next 3 weeks there'll be a bit of a run on the bank, and for me it's a win-win. We win if it goes to cinema. We win if it doesn't because we've got amazing leverage there to blow the whistle or drop the bomb, for want of a better word, and then whack it back on our platform. So it's a win-win.
That's great. Well, we wish you all the best. So what's after this? And I'm sure all your energy and all your focus is going into, the promotion of this at the moment. Once it's out, what's next in the horizon for Mac?
Yeah, cool. We've got some cool stuff in the pipeline. Baxter's Bus is like a Aussie comedy, which will be sort of a bit of a parody about Big Pharma and all that, which will be fun.
About
And
Big
then we've got a
Pharma.
big one which has been in the pipeline for almost a decade. Dunamis, there's a trailer on our website about that one, and
Yeah.
that's a big one. We've got some big A-listers attached to that, and I think the beauty of that is when we complete that, we will have the upper hand. And at this point, I don't want to release it theatrically with those big chains. And we've got, like, I'm talking A-list actors attached and signed, and by then Movie Sense will be at such a strong fortified streaming platform that we will just go, hey, boom, here's the premiere, and all our subscribers can watch it bang first in.
Can you drop some names?
Yeah, I'll go on the website, it's all there.
For the A-listers. Okay.
Probably last question from me, right? So I love fairy tales. I love the underdogs, the Rocky Balboas, one in a million shot. What
Yeah.
advice would you have? I mean, you have gone through hell. You've gone to hell, the closest thing we've got, and come out the other side, and you sound like you're better for it, and you've got a career path.
Yep.
What advice would you have to people that have going or could be going through that sort of turmoil?
Honestly, I would say learn how to pray. Like that's what I did. That's what I do. So I can't, you could say never, never give up. Light at the end of the tunnel. There's a lot of stuff out there. There's like but that's and not religious stuff. Just keep it real. If there's something out there, I need help in X, Y, Z, and just start dialogue. Baxter's Bus is awesome. It says something like, why is it that when we pray to God, that's normal, but when God answers us, we're schizophrenic,
Yeah.
and that's our little call for Baxter's Bus. It's going to really bring a little bit of a different angle to mental health.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that one as well. Mac, I think that's it from us.
Yeah, sweet.
Really appreciate you coming on here and spending the time with us. Wish you all the best and all the success in the world for Rise of the Underdog, and any other movies or productions you have coming out in the future. Just if you want to sign us out with when it's coming out again and any final thoughts.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Rowan. So November the 6th, any cinemas that are willing to, take on the big guys are playing it. We've got, I think Edalong's got it. We've got Cinema Paradiso. We've got Narang. They're coming in. They're coming in because they're kind of like, oh, okay, we're going to play it. So November the 6th. If you miss it there, then you'll be able to get it on moviesense.com.
Cool.
Mac, good luck with everything. You've had a hell of a story and you've come out better for the other side. So we wish you all the very best, and
Awesome.
certainly
Thanks,
going
fellas.
to the movies to watch the Rise of the Underdog.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right.
All the best.
Cheers.
Great to chat.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.